I'm just put a cup of water and a quarter cup of sugar in here. And we're just going to melt this here. Sorry. What you're doing now. Okay, I just took a, you can do a cast iron or, this is a Teflon, I don't know exactly what, but a pan that can go in the oven.
So no rubber.
No rubber. So I just took my, I took my rubber handle. This is my rubber handle, I took this off. So this part's always a little tricky and I always kind of blow it, but that's what's kind of good about us doing this together, is I just put a cup of water and a quarter cup of sugar in this frying pan. I'm going to melt it, and it should get a little thicker and get a little amber color. It turns on a dime and turns into like a snowy crystal bed. And so I'm good. We're all going to do it together. We can see how this happens. I've made this dessert a million times, and sometimes that happens and sometimes it doesn't. But the great thing with this Pear tartine is that I will make the dough, which I'm going to show you guys how to do, in the Cuisinart. I just put it in a bowl on the counter if I'm having a dinner party. And I cook these pears ahead of time, and they're on the back of my stove sitting in the juice and ready to go. And then as we sit down to dinner, I take 2 seconds and I roll this little dough a little bit, and I lay it inside the pan, and I pop it in the oven, and by the time we're done with dinner, it's done. So this is the greatest little dessert. Do you guys have dinner parties?
Yes.
I think it's like the enhancer of life. I love having people over. Especially now it's turned into, my husband collects wine, so now it's turned into wine, drunk, and everybody's like drunk and flamingo dancing by the end of the party, and I think success! It's good! So here we have our water, our 1 cup of water and a quarter cup of sugar. So we're going to melt this sugar, and we're going to try to get it thick and a little bit of an amber color. You want to keep an eye on it because you don't want it to crystallize. All right, so I'm going to put in this Cuisinart. This is a super easy way to make. I don't know if everybody has a Cuisinart, and I have no idea how to use this Cuisinart. So this one is super easy. Clear this out. So in this Cuisinart, we're putting 2.5 cups of flour. This is the super quick, easy way to make dough.
Oh, we got 3 more.
We've got a couple more. A teaspoon of salt, and then you're going to get all this as soon as Debbie gets on that. So this is 2.5 cups of flour and a teaspoon of salt.
Oh, look, does anyone want your apron?
Oh, yes, I forgot mine.
I drove all the way to school this morning to bring my teacher's apron closet.
I forgot.
So I'm just going to pulse the dry ingredients a little bit. That's it. So I'm going to take 2 sticks of butter and just slice these.
This is for the pear.
We're just going to prepare, which is ambitious, but we're trying to do so you guys can have something to eat before you go. So this is chilled butter.
Unsalted?
Yes. So kind of board. And then you put these in here like this. Debbie, this is a nice Cuisinart. Oh, I had the same one when I got married. I need something to step it up.
Juice? Actually, that sounds delicious, Miss Debbie. Yes. Whatever you have. Orange juice is totally fine. Miss Debbie. What do you think I won't call her Miss Debbie?
I know, well, she's my sister and she signs everything, Miss Debbie, or calls me and says it's Miss Debbie.
I feel bad that
Well, it's funny.
But I did have a kid in Montessori, so I'm going to just pulse this. This is 2 sticks of butter slices. So this you add ice water about, you start with a quarter cup and you turn it on. And you add this. Will it go on without this lid on it? I think I have to do something.
No, I did.
I did put this on. Maybe that's it. Okay, it's on. Start pouring this in slowly. And you're going to know when it's ready because it turns into a ball that's going to go flying around in here. See how this does it on an own? See what it does, it forms the ball just like that. Super, super easy. And then we're going to put this in here. Normally, we would let that amber up and thicken up and then put this in here at the end, like turn it off and let the butter melt. But I think we're just going to add this. See, now this is, see right here is where it can turn to crystal when it's like bubbling too much. Easy, powerful stove. All right, so we'll get that, and hopefully this will all work out. So as soon as this gets melted, we're going to put those pears in with the cut side up, and then we'll cook the pears, and then we roll out the dough, put the dough on it, and put it in the oven. And then when the dinner's done or whatever, you go around the edges, and you put a plate on top of it, and you flip it, and then it's all caramelized pears on this beautiful dough. That's the plan. And when we get going, if they, especially since we're in a rush here, we may cut this in half to make it lay flatter to cook faster. We don't say anyway, just because we're in a rush. But the idea is that we want to make it look, pretty. And then I would normally do, so hopefully it's all going to.
Did you turn this down at that point?
Now it's off because
off.
it was bubbling and I couldn't concentrate on getting these in here properly.
Once they're in,
Then the juices will start working with it, and it won't be, in that delicate thing of turning the crystals.
you'll turn it back on.
I'm going to turn it back on. I'm going to turn it back on, and I'm going to cook these in this butter, sugar, and water. Are those cord? I'm not sure if those are cord.
Your fault.
So I might take one of the really big, good ones and put it in the center.
So this is part of the trick.
Just
The
arranging them.
display of putting them in there. Right.
Yes.
Kind of.
Another
I mean,
one
you
of
can see
those-
that it's not exact. It's not exact, but
You have a couple smaller pieces.
yeah.
Put that one in here.
My pan's pretty big, so I might use this whole. So I'm kind of a little generous with flour, which if I read that science book again about how this stuff, you probably not use too much. But if you start the center and give it a little pressure and roll it from the center out.
I don't mean to interrupt you, but we're pretty amber here.
Okay, just turn. I think just turn it off. Okay, just yeah. So just roll it out. It's a little bit thicker because this is a bottom. We all know.
You gotta have a little extra
Chunk in your trunk over there. Okay, so it's getting big. So the reason this thing is because if you put this here and if you just give it, lift it up underneath it and roll it with it, you can keep it. You guys, I don't know if you want to come on the side and see, but I'm scraping it because it's sticking. It's sticking to the marble. So if I do this as I go, anyway, I bring this over. And I roll this in here.
Oh, I'm so excited right now.
I know.
So I'm going to get a little trimmer.
We have sugar and water. Yum.
Yeah, I know everything about this. That's what I said. You may
Butter, yum.
not want to eat this every day.
Crust, okay.
And then I just tuck this down a little bit, whatever's hanging over.
Around the rolling pin to get it over there. That was pretty tricky.
That is the trick.
Skill.
Like I said, I have made so many of
Kids are gonna be
these.
totally impressed now, huh?
Yeah, I probably my grandkids, but I've never actually made a real one.
Okay, thank you. Because I've never used it before. It's such a treat. And what's our time on that recipe, Debbie?
375 for